Virgos, we're going to do your reading for the month of May. I'm going to start off. Are you all right? Are you all right? Okay. My cat just took a tumble. My cat just took a rather high tumble, from a high place. I think she was trying to jump off, but must have lost her balance at some point. I don't really know. She's all right. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. Um, yeah, she's good. Anyway, here's the goddess oracle deck for you, Virgos. You could be feeling a little bit off kilter or off balance. Okay, so this is the way these fell out. I'm going to take it in two piles because they kind of just sorted themselves that way automatically. Just sorted, isn't it? Okay, you could be. I'm not going to say fell. I'm going to say she gracefully descended. Okay. What's here is shame number 19 in the reverse, as well as betrayal number 20 in the upright. And there are cards behind either of those, which I will review upon clarification. And then there's number 3, grounding. Number 2 is the top of the read, that's cosmic power. So this is like a sun and moon kind of energy. There's like an eclipse of something. So I don't think she actually just fell. I think she, if you're used to everything being in the wide out, like the bright, everything is out in the open, then you don't really feel ashamed of grounding yourself. I'm trying to incorporate the things that are going on in my environment literally with this reading. And that's kind of what this is saying. Like, there's no shame in falling off, or, let's just say you have a goal of like saving X amount of money, right? Well, if you spend a whole bunch of money or money that you didn't plan on spending, that's okay. Like, there's no shame in that at all. Betrayal being in the upright, I just see this as spider legs. And then she's also got these kind of like 4 prongs sticking out of the top of her head. I feel like there's something about like you being able to sense for yourself what feels good, like shameful, and what does not, and then what is grounding and what is not. So there's sometimes we have to take a back seat to ourselves. A really good quote for that would be the analogy, actually, that sometimes to direct the choir, you have to turn your back to the audience, right? And I think that's what this is it's somebody that's used to, I'm not saying the conductor, I'm just saying the person who's at the front of the stage, front and center, you know what I mean? That person is maybe taking a back seat at this point, or being grounded in a way that is good for them, but not like, okay, it's almost like you start working so much that you don't even have time to spend your money. Okay, that's grounding, and it is kind of rough. Like, you just feel like you're kind of like falling all over the place because you're either so tired, or sometimes it can feel overwhelming. Other times it can just be the actual work that you're doing is something that you're not really like all that well acquainted with yet. It can be a whole bunch of things, but I feel like there's eclipse energy going on. If you see all of her hair, her afro, she's got like all this hair, right? And then the person next to her, or the individual, I'm just going to say spirit guide because I don't think these are supposed to be like actual people. But this one is completely bald, And so there's a switching of places, whereas the moon might have been really obvious at night. Now it's like a sliver. And that's like a natural cycle, right? But it's at the same time, maybe the sun was the central focus. Now there's an eclipse, Healing the ouch, number 38, wanted to come out on top of shame. So yeah, you're not gonna heal the ouch for people who are feeling shame or trying to incur shame on you right now. Yeah, this moonlight energy is the betrayal energy. So it's kind of like looking back at some things. I'm just seeing the number 20 on the betrayal card. It says Aunt Nancy. So like 2020 vision is like you didn't really see something. You were not seeing the whole entire picture up until a certain point. And that might be because this moon has now moved into position either in front of or behind the sun. Okay. And it's, um, you can frolic in the moonlight, or you can frolic in the daylight, like in the sunlight, you can frolic at night. You understand what I'm saying? That there's like different lifestyles that people live. And that's something that's like now kind of the secret is out about this betrayal energy. Like you already kind of got through it. This is number 2 at the top of the read was a cosmic power or that eclipse energy. And this is number 3, grounding at the end of the read. So I feel like, especially with this heal the ouch in the reverse, you're just not going to. Long Bubby Susie is shame in the reverse. Tituba, number 4, was behind it, also in reverse. And that's feeling safe. So, like, if someone is, like, ashamed of themselves and they don't really feel safe, you're not really feeling it either. It's a very Virgo trait. Like, I'm not going to, how people always are like, well, if everyone jumped off a cliff, would you? The Virgo is going to be the one person out of the entire group, if there's, like, naysayers, that's going to be like, no, I'm not going. I'm not going to jump off that cliff. I'm good. Like, I like my life. I need it tomorrow. So, yeah, no, we're not going, yep, let storm fields. There's not going to be a storm when there's already an eclipse going on. Okay. Like, someone has to be able to feel their way through the shadow of the valley of death, And if that's not the person that's telling you to jump off the cliff and you can feel for yourself, then you're already kind of grounding that energy. With the moonlight, number 51 in the upright, there's betrayal, but then there's also alchemy and joy in reverse. Okay. So you're going to betray yourself if you don't alchemize energies into joyful energy. If you see this nighttime energy as being something dark or bad or evil or somehow you're scared of the dark, you know what I'm saying? That is going to end up affecting your ability to stop betraying yourself. I don't know why I'm hearing that song. Bet you can't do it like me. This one is not really betting anything. This one's betting that you can't do it at all. This card right here, the secret is that you can. So I'm just going to have you look at the wings, right? And I know that these are actually just pieces of fabric that are like the sleeves on her shirt. But at this point, they're hanging down. And she does not have wings. This is not a flying spider. I don't even know if there are flying spiders. They're flying ants, but they're not flying spiders. The point is here, instead of having things weighing you down, I'm just saying, like, if you had really heavy, really long robes, like kind of weighing you down, imagine wearing that all day long, and trying to do something quickly. It's almost self-betrayal. It's knowing in your mind, well, I should have wore sneakers instead of heels to get this task done. That's a very surface example, but that's the alchemy of joy. If you want to have fun while you're out walking around, you should probably just wear some sneakers and like don't try to be cute about it. Otherwise you're going to be hobbling around, your feet are going to be all cut up, and you're not going to be ready for whatever situation comes up. Like, what if you had to run, right? Like, what if a quick takeoff was needed? That would not be happening if you're earthbound. Not in a bad way, but just like if you're in betrayal energy, that's the foot that you're just all 8 feet are there. So if that's the foot that you're stepping out on is the one to betray people or betray yourself, really just having betrayal on your mind at all, that's going to be what you're presenting. I just see this big old pearl that she has. That pearl can look like, if you were to look at it really up close, like hold it super close to one eye or the other, whatever um long bubbly Susie was holding up over here with shame. It's going to be a shame that this is how much you offered yourself when you could have had the whole moon. Okay. I'm about to try to rush through the rest of this a little bit just because I want these to be shorter so that they're easy to upload. Yeah, grounding energy number 3. I think it's just going to be more of the same. Yeah, look. So wide open is actually using, look at, she's on the precipice of that cliff. This is number 42. She's like standing right on the edge of this cliff, looking out both ways, any direction that you can think of. And she's all by herself. So if someone was there with her, or if there's a little voice in the back of her head that's like, jump, she's like, nah, I'm gonna stay firmly in my place where I know I've got all the resources that I need, and I'm good with that. This is not a wide open space kind of area. That's she's not surrounded by wide open spaces. What she's surrounded by is a desolate, it's it's being on an island and not knowing when the next airplane is going to come by, or when the next sea vessel is going to show up, or whether you're ever going to see humanity again. Okay, like that's kind of where she's at with it. I don't know why I felt the need to cut the deck, but I did, and it's intuition. So I feel like the eclipse energy is actually your intuition outshining the things that you want to do. So what you need to do versus what you want to do are two very different things. Um, and I feel like somebody has, you see how she's got her son on her lap and she's good. Like she's just chilling, you know? That's what this is it's making sure that there's a balance in the amount of sunlight. It's daylight saving. It's springing forward or falling back from something, which is what the cat did as soon as I turned this on. So that makes sense to me. Yep. And then here's a talisman. So this is number 49. And this is kind of the, when we were looking at this self-betrayal energy that was under here, do you see that this ball has now turned into something that she's rocking like a toga? It's wearing the energy instead of letting the energy ask you where you are or where you're going or where you've been, if that makes sense. Like instead of going through, why is it daylight? Why is it nighttime? Why is the sun out? Why is the moon not shining? Like instead of asking all those questions, just intuitively take a leap of faith in the direction that you want to go and then stand there and see how it goes. And if you're not going in the direction that you want to go, change directions. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll probably say it 1,000 more. There is no directional orientation in space. So if what you're listening to, yeah, this is the listening card. What you're listening to is other people's advice on how to live your life. Maybe don't do that. Maybe just take the tidbits of information that you've gathered along your path, along the road. At one point, you might have been betrayed. At one point, you could have been betrayed by someone trying to keep you a secret, or someone kind of cycling you in and out of their life as if you're just a trophy on a shelf that they can take down and, you know, polish off whenever they feel like it, or kind of dust off, right? Don't do that anymore. Don't feel shame in whatever it is that you've been through, good or bad. There's something empowering, and there's a way to empower those experiences by being in your own energy. The grounding of not really opening yourself to jump off the cliff. Everyone else did it. Like, who cares what everyone else does? That is the least of your concerns, especially you see how she's got an entire winding road on one side of her and then just an open field on the other. That's the clearing of the mind. Instead of all this traffic going through your brain, trying to drop pearls for you to listen to. Well, you should do this and you should do that. And if you eat this diet, maybe you're allergic to half the things that they put in the diet. You know, you don't want to send yourself into ketosis. You would like to just be healthy. You know what I mean? Like that's more of a wide open field. You get to now use this as agriculture, as a crop. You know what I'm saying? You can grow what you want here. You don't have to eat what everyone else eats and believe what everyone else believes and say what everyone else says. Like just be yourself and you're good. That's really all that I have for you right now, Virgo. I am gonna just let this go for another 5 minutes or so because I do want to get The animal energy was coming through rather hard. Yep, this really wanted to be out there. Okay, people are going to be really jealous once you come out of your cocoon. You're not really in a stage where you're hurting. You don't feel ashamed of yourself. You certainly are feeling safe. Or you might be stepping outside of your comfort zone in a certain aspect, right? And that's flight. I do want to say this is the cocoon that you might have been in. If you look at this talisman energy, this is actually a serpent, the serpent of the sea in the upright. She's actually got a sea dragon plus the spear of energy. So I feel like um, when you're in a cocoon, nobody's really that worried about you. They don't know how beautiful you're going to be when you unfold your wings. And it's a very safe space to grow and give yourself nutrients, make sure that you're positioned for the best life that you've got after emergence, right? But it's not an emergency when um, you're able to transmute these energies, which is also, this is also the jealousy card in the upright, like a big old iris, people having to eat their words, people like the snake that chases its own tail, right? You're not going to be chasing anything. You're not chasing that path there. She's literally holding it away from her body, walking one direction or another, right? And she's going to go ahead and take flight. This is something that she now knows how to do. So rather than getting stuck on what everyone else sees, rather than having a serpent tongue that's like two pronged, you're talking stuff sometimes and you're talking good stuff other times. This is the emergence from that. It's not listening to the like the gossip and this is number 43 is listening. And if you're not listening to what other people say, you're more likely to tap into like mother nature, right? And yourself, therefore. And that means that this butterfly can become whatever color scheme. I'm just saying if I was to cover half of it, it would look like it's like a blue and black. And the other part of it is like kind of red. So it's a combination of all the kind of primary colors, but it's not flamboyant. There's no yellow involved here. It's just, this didn't hurt. When I say yellow, for some reason, I'm hearing yell if something hurts, like ouch. Heal the ouch. In the reverse, it means it didn't hurt to come out of this cocoon. It just maybe was the first time that you felt comfortable doing that in a while. So that's that. Let's see what comes out for betrayal with the moonlight as well as joy and alchemy in the reverse. Yeah, it's betraying yourself if you don't alchemize the things that don't bring you joy and are not changing for you. That is betrayal, and it's betrayal of yourself. Secretly, it's emotional betrayal of the self, right? So when you don't alchemize this energy with joy, like, so we'll look at it in the upright. The tiger has this, the moon right here as the intuition, as the intuitive hit, right? However, if that energy is not being joyfully alchemized, it works against you. And it's not like on purpose or anything like that. It just means that you are going to end up getting yourself betrayed or betraying yourself. That's what I've said 1,000 times. You have to know when a thought belongs to you or if someone else has persuaded you to think a specific way. Keep in mind that in corporate America, there are entire marketing firms whose entire job it is to get you to think about them when you actually should be thinking about something else, okay? And it's like something as simple as getting the jingle, the commercial jingle stuck in your head, or making you think that you're not good enough. You should feel ashamed of yourself and feel hurt and don't feel safe anymore if you don't have life alert, a ring cam, or a key fob to unlock your car from afar. You know what I mean? Like there's certain luxuries in life that I'm sure are very nice to have. I'm not at all knocking those. What I'm trying to say is that when you've grounded yourself and you don't really care, you're not really open to being knocked off your square in the first place, those things aren't going to bother you. Yeah, you're not going to sneak around the issue. You're not going to try to like get too big for your britches. I don't know why that came through. I guess like lizard just makes me I'm hearing it's about damn time. I don't know why. Maybe that's pertinent to somebody's the cutoff of the wide open spaces when it comes to grounding yourself, because you're not going to sneak around. You're not going to I feel a lot of necessity here for you to really just stand in your own power, 10 toes down, and not waver. I don't know why they like, you know how you sign a waiver or a release form? This is like when you don't do that. You're just like, no, I'm not going to release what you thought I was going to release or what you other people expect. I'm going to do what I want to do. Yeah, there's a crow. And I think that's the whole point, is that you're not going to like criminally hurt yourself. You're not going to physically, mentally, spiritually, like none of these things are, you're not going to be listening. These are the two cards that are in the reverse, right? And this is the only one that's in the upright for this portion of the top of the read of the map quest, as well as the animal portion. This is the case. Like you're not gonna be ranting and raving about anything in particular unless it's in the upright. Otherwise, you're not really listening. And it's no offense to those people. It just has everything to do with you needing to forge your own way. I'm just seeing like the Statue of Liberty and this toga energy, or like, if you're, I don't know, if you're crossing, look like an oasis, someplace that nobody else has crossed before, or someplace that's easy to get lost, or you see a lot of mirages. The camel actually stores water in its humps. And camels either usually have like one or two humps. I've never seen a camel with three humps, but I'm sure they're out there. The point is that they don't get dehydrated even when they don't taste anything for a very long time, like no water, no liquids, no fluids. This is self-preservation. There's the moon, right? And it's the other side of the moon. So this crescent moon is facing the same direction as this crescent moon, and it's the alchemization of the energy that's needed for you to carry yourself through whatever. The camel is not about to go with you and jump off a cliff. It's going to spit at you like a llama. Okay? It's just not. It's not going to, unless it just wants to do that, because it's fire energy with the upward facing triangle. Unless that's just what it chooses, it's not going on the journey unless it wants to. It is not going to be chasing mirages. It is not going to be searching for water where there is none. All right? All right. Tilly, Virgo.